WVON. Text somebody, tweet somebody, let them know that the push is on. We're excited. It's City College Day. The firefighters are here with us today. And Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson is here today as we push for change, push for freedom. Let me hear you make some noise. Push. Yeah, we shall. Oh, let it ring out. Oh, believe it today that someday, well, deep in my heart, we shall overcome someday. Hands together one more time. If you're excited to be alive, we're grateful again for those of you that are watching us. If you're with us here at the Saturday Forum, I want everybody to go on Facebook Live. Those of you that are with us on Facebook Live, why don't you show some love for us and fill that screen with all the hearts that you can, because again, we have a lot of ground to cover in such a short amount of time. We're grateful for those who are watching all across the world. Can we put our hands together and celebrate those that are watching us in Europe, Africa? Come on, y'all, celebrating our international partners here back in the States as well, in New York and Silicon Valley, and those that are watching us in Detroit, wherever you are. Again, we're grateful for you with us. We dedicate our broadcast today to the memory of those who were killed yesterday, again, to senseless violence. 22 school shootings this year. Enough is enough. And so we are praying for those mothers and fathers who have to bury their children. We are praying for the family of Margaret Kidder. She was with us throughout the movement. We are praying for Barbara Kinsey, a great woman, and so we are dedicating and praying for them in this broadcast. Today is Malcolm X's birthday, and so we are grateful for the life and legacy of Malcolm X, and we are also sending good well wishes to our very own Reverend J.T. Anderson. What a great man he is, and we are praying for J.D. to get better. We're praying for Attorney Lou Myers and none other than Daisy Camps. And again, we want to celebrate Justice P. Scott Neville. He was recently appointed to the Justice of the Illinois Supreme Court. Come on, you all, that's big news. And so we celebrate that. Also, we celebrate, you saw snippets of it, of the royal wedding, Duke and Duchess. Oh, come on, y'all, the family is together, and we are grateful for the royal love that was seen. And today we celebrate, last but not least, when we heard the news of what happened at our very own Captain Hardtime Mother Way. We are grateful for the contractors, the volunteers that in less than 24 hours put their hands together with their feet and put together that situation like none other. Today we have a very special guest with us, no stranger to us, but these young people have a gift of music, and they are truly a timeless gift. I want you to put your hands together and make them feel real good. Turn up your TV for Timeless Gifts. One more time for Timeless Gifts under the direction of Miss Joan Colasso. As I said before, today is City College's Day here in Chicago. Come on, all of the alumni we have with us today, Olive Harvey, Malcolm X, all of them are here. And so we are grateful for none other than President of Malcolm X College, Dr. David S. A. Sanders. Come on, celebrate him as he comes and gives greetings on behalf of all of the city colleges. And as an alumni here in Washington, come on, make some noise.
We are so happy to be here at Rainbow Push Coalition. Somebody ought to give a hand praise in this place with the illustrious leader, the incomparable, nobody like him anywhere in the world, the Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. My name is David Sanders. I am the president of Malcolm X College, standing in the stead of our chancellor, the dynamic Juan Salgado. We are here because this is the time for everybody to know the opportunities that are available to you at City College, especially on Malcolm X's birthday. One of his hallmark achievements was the push of education and indicating that education is a passport to your future. So you need to take advantage of the opportunities that we have at City College because we provide great education. I should get a hand from everybody on that. Not only do we have the 7 colleges, but there's a district office that is behind the support of what we do. And we are pushing out today, as you've seen from Chancellor Salgado, we are working not only in our communities, which are vitally important to us, but we are working in prisons to give opportunities. We are working in veteran homes. We are working all across this city of Chicago. We have navigators. We children in America to get the resources. So ladies and gentlemen, you may be charter this or that. If your school does not have a gymnasium, if your school does not have a music room, if your school does not have a pool and athletic facilities for the boys and girls to play, if your school does not have a full-time librarian to introduce you to the world of reading that Malcolm X had missed out on, that he had to fill in for himself, if your school does not have math instructors and speech therapists, the same ones that I needed to go to school with, you are an inferior school. Take it out over time. Your child will be working for someone else because your child doesn't have the skills. Your child had the ability, but it was not cultivated. So they never acquired the skills in order to be self-sustaining. We're talking about Negro education. Who wants our children to hire their children? Why are the schools bad? Because they have an advantage that they don't want to give up. I am not mad at them having an advantage. I'm not mad at someone keeping an advantage. But if you want to get in the game, you better run faster, work harder, fight for what you need. So don't tell me, look what they've done to us. Look at how unfair it is. My father's always told me, salt and tears are both salty and wet. One will get you results and one may get you some sympathy. Keep working and stop crying. Lydia Brown, her father was Reverend Brown. Look at here. A minister leading the way. How about that? A minister taking a position in the court of public opinion. A minister showing up to school with his child, not fighting just for his child, but for fighting for all the children. You all might have missed that. The minister, love you, Reverend Hall, will take a position on the public issues of our day. God bless heaven. I want to get there one day. I'm not trying to die no time soon. But in the meantime, God strengthen me, work through me, live within me to do some good on this earth. There was reprisal and backlash when Brown versus Board of Education was decided. And here's the trick I need you to understand in closing. Here is the trick and the reason I need you fully caffeinated and wide awake.
after the decision was made. It's Brown versus Board of Education Part 1, and then they had Part 2. Part 1 says unanimously desegregation is wrong because it puts an inferiority cloud over the child and they don't have resources. So then they asked the Supreme Court to make a further ruling because the courts never made a decision on how to implement the education. Later on, they came out Brown versus Board of Ed 2, and that simply stated this will happen with all deliberate speed, which means never. And then Senator Joe Biden in the 70s ended up having the last vote on this and saying that we do not need to force segregation, but never showed us a tool in order to desegregate or integrate the schools. Ladies and gentlemen, this is about a fight for resources and our survival. At the end of the day, all racism leads to genocide. We must fight to protect so we can build and have jobs, and we can have work, and we can participate. God bless the new future Queen of England. It doesn't matter where you started. It's where you're going to end up. My brothers and sisters, it doesn't matter where we began in 1619, 400 years ago in 2019. The question is, where are we going to end? When are we going to convene? When are you going to come to the convention so we can make a stance and we can advance? Brothers and sisters, it's my privilege to introduce the next young speaker that's going to bring my father on. Gabrielle, come forward and introduce my father. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gabriel Gatherite, and I will be reciting the Democratic National Convention speech presented by Barack Obama in 2004. I stand here today grateful for the diversity of my heritage, aware that the dreams of my parents live on in my two precious daughters. I stand here knowing that my story is a part of the larger American story and that I owe a debt to all those who came before me, and that in no other country on earth is my story even possible. Today, we gather to affirm the greatness of our nation, not because of the height of our skyscrapers or the power of our military or the size of our economy. Our pride is based on a very simple premise, summed up in a declaration made over 200 years ago. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, and that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That is the true genius of America, the faith in the simple dreams of its people, the insistence on small miracles, that we can tuck our children in at night and know they are fed, clothed, and safe from harm, that we can say what we think, write what we think, without hearing a sudden knock on the door, that we can have an idea and start our own business without paying a bribe or hiring someone's son, that we can participate in the political process without fear of most of the time. This year, in this election, we are called to remembrance and see how we are holding up to a hard reality, measuring up to the legacy of our forebears and the promise of our future generations. And fellow Americans, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, I say to you tonight, we have more work to do. More to do for the workers I met in Galesburg, Illinois, who are losing their union jobs at a Maytag plant, moving to Mexico, and now having to compete with their own children for jobs paying $7 an hour. More to do for the father I met who's losing his job and choking back tears, wondering how he would pay $4,500 a month for the drugs his son needs without the health benefits he counted on. More to do for the young lady I met in East St. Louis and thousands more like her, who has the grades, has the drive, has the will, but doesn't have the money to go to college. Now, don't get me wrong, the people I meet in office parks, diners, big cities, small towns, They don't expect government to solve all their problems. They know they have to work hard to get ahead, and they want to. Going to college counties around Chicago, and people will tell you they don't want their tax money wasted by a welfare agency or the Pentagon. Going to inner city neighborhoods around Chicago, and folks will tell you that government alone can't teach our kids how to learn. They know parents have to teach, and they know the only way kids can achieve their expectations is if we eradicate the slander that says a black youth with a book in his hand is acting white. No, they don't expect government to solve all their problems. They know they have to work hard. They know that we have to change the way we look at things. And I am so grateful to introduce someone who has been an impact on my life for some time now, who has taught me that I am somebody and we all are somebody. And I am so gracious and so honored to present to you Reverend Jesse L. Jackson Sr., my hero.
Somebody. I am somebody. I am somebody. Respect me, protect me, never neglect me. I am somebody. My mind is a pearl. I can learn anything in the world. If my mind can conceive it and my heart can believe it, I know I can achieve it. I am God's child. Down with dope, up with hope. Down with dope, up with hope. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Go on, Mayhan. Give it up. But young Gabriel, give Gabriel a big hand for the powerful introduction. Stand up again, young man. And the leaders of city colleges want you stand. City college leaders want you to stand. Get up for city colleges. I want to make several basic observations today, Brother Sparks. And eventually, once you come on and take us on in with the ship. But I want to talk about the ingathering of our family. The Bible talks about putting corn husks before swines. They will not understand the pearl from a corn husk. Some of us got a lot of hog in us. We see jewels
and we don't separate jewels from corn husks. These city colleges are the best deal in America. No matter what your high school situation was, you can go to a city college and you can learn. Say, if I'm behind, I can catch up. There's a school, the long arm of protection. 90% of nurses in Chicago come out of city colleges. And we're going to talk about that as we open up our convention June 13th through the 16th. There are several dimensions of that wedding, dimensions that have certain meaning to us. Besides all of us having royal blood, that's not the real point in this. Royal blood is not biological, that's political. That's a cultural designation called royal. So all of us have royal blood. When Princess Diana was in the car wreck, they didn't go look for royal. They went looking for O and H, looking for three kinds of blood, but say one blood made of all people. But the point is that what was royal to me about Harry's values, number one, he didn't send his fellow countrymen to the war. He went to the front line himself. Since Jimmy Carter, not an American president, served in the war. In the war room, sending people to the war, they won't go to war. Harry chose to go to the front line himself and risk his life, which gives him the authority to make a case about war or peace. That's a value. Secondly, he made it a big decision to marry across lines of historic lines that had been drawn. When I heard them talking about 500 years of British rule, that was back in, we've been here 400 years next year. This is the slave roots of our foreparents. Can you imagine those who came from West Africa and East Africa to Britain, on whose wealth that country is built, now has a woman on the way to becoming a queen, and he made that decision all by himself. And then he spent his time in Africa with poor children, working with children who died from lack of drinkable water. So to me, what's royal about the witness, his values are royal. You could see her touch all in it. You saw the African-American choir. You saw the minister. Give it a Reverend Curry. We saw the 10 more children killed yesterday in Santa Fe. And apparently that school believes in two things, guns and buses. I saw about 50 buses. Now, no one protesting against busing in Santa Fe. Now, there'd be protests if blacks was on the bus. Most children cannot get to school without a bus. You saw buses lined up. Texas is one of those states where you have the right to carry guns openly, called open carry. Here's a kid going to school in 90-degree weather wearing a black trench coat, and they think he's normal. Well, the fact is he had the right to carry the guns, and there's a 22nd school shooting this year, and the numbers keep on climbing. We must ban assault weapons now. Ban assault weapons. Say ban assault weapons. Now, they have no function but to kill people. He could take that same rifle and go out by the airport and shoot an airplane down, taking off a landing. There's no use for assault weapons in a civilized civilian society. Secondly, we saw those people, Palestinians, killed this week in the West Bank as the U.S. moved their embassy to Jerusalem. Most of the three nations in the world made that decision. The UN must intervene now and stop that killing. One group got rocks, one got bullets. We must stop the killing in Gaza. We cannot turn our face on it. Killing is wrong and will not represent a solution in the end. Second, we support the summit between North Korea and the U.S., but it must not be derailed by foolishness. It's really a summit between North and South Korea. When we go to Korea, we are a long ways from home. We're a long ways from home. And we're going to tell the man, give up all your weapons while we give up none. Our allies have weapons. Our adversaries have them, and he said that if didn't have my weapons, I'd be just like Saddam Hussein, and I'd be like Gaddafi. I can have weapons to defend myself. So if there is dialogue, a commitment not just to focus on disarmament, but one of cooperation between families that's been apart 70 years. Now look at these city colleges. There are 100,000 students go to these schools. That's 100,000 voters. So 100,000 voters will determine the next governor. 100,000 voters have power to determine their destiny. And so we must make a priority of every student in every school being a registered voter. If you want lower tuition, you ought to vote about it. You want better pay for teachers, you ought to vote about it. Want more facilities, you ought to vote about it. So we want to, in these schools, are teaching everything from manufacturing to nursing to construction. Another big hand for city colleges. Won't you give it up, please? When we open up our convention June, I'm going to walk just a few minutes to our convention, June 13th. On that Wednesday, we're going to a place here in Chicago with Commonwealth Edison, where we're bringing mayors from around the country, training our youth on how to rebuild where we live. When women are in the streets, most of the women with those flags saying stop, go in slow, that's $75 an hour jobs. We must train our people to build where we live. We want to have, if we remove lead paint and water out the paint, those are jobs, labor intensive. If we in fact begin to remove the debris and the dirt where we live in these vacant lots, those are jobs. We should tear down those houses that cannot be rebuilt and rebuild those that can be. Those are jobs. There are more jobs than there are people. So our first session will be dealing with urban reconstruction. I want to thank Brother Omar Sharif for his diligent work. Give Omar a big hand. Thank you, Omar. That night at Apostolic Faith, Bishop Horace Smith, we're going to honor that night. He is both a profound preacher and a medical doctor. That night we'll have the mass choir, Ludella Evans-Reed, and the traditional choir. We'll have with us that night the Tommies and Darius Brooks. We'll have B.B. Winans. We'll have the Audrey DuBois Harris, profound opera singer and gospel singer. We'll have with us DeAndre Patterson, Santita Jackson, and it's free. The night of Wednesday night, April the 13th, come to the gospel event at Apostolic starting at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock on Wednesday night the 13th. And it is free to get in. Might not be free to get out, it'll be free to get in. Thursday morning is our business breakfast. Rainbow Push, we've been able to get us from 3 black board members to 18 in Silicon Valley in the last year. We want our share of board members, our share of procurement. So in every business, there's a procurement list. The procurement list. They use lawyers, ad agencies, marketing, employment, vertically and horizontally. That's all a part. That's Wednesday morning. I'll be speaking at that breakfast on Wednesday morning. At noontime, we have ministers' breakfast. Ministers must lead the charge. All roads lead to November this year. If you want to deal with Trump, take the Congress back in November. 4 million blacks in the South are still unregistered. 4 million unregistered. That means churches beware. 2.5 million registered who did not vote the last time. And right now, this is high school graduation time. Every high school senior should come across the stage with the diploma in one hand and the voter card in the other. We teach them to salute, to stand for Star Spangled Banner and salute the flag. Teach them the power of their vote. 4 million high school seniors. Those kids, when they were killed again, people begin to wring their hands. What can we do? Make the weapons on the, ban the weapons. So we can ban the weapons. And those officials who don't want to ban the weapons, we should ban them. Talk to me, somebody. So ministers will be fighting for automatic voter registration. We're fighting for the need to ban assault weapons, the need for automatic registration. But more than that, we're fighting for our share of jobs and justice. We have 200 coming in from South Africa and the Gambia and Senegal, and coming in from Kenya. And we intend to hook up. We want some African students to come to our schools, some of our students to go to some African schools, begin to internationalize our struggle. We're honoring Nelson Mandela's 100th birthday is that week, and Danny Glover will be there to speak at the Mandela session on Thursday afternoon at the convention at the Hyatt. On Friday morning will be our health care affair. Danny Davis may be the most profound person in the whole of Congress to focus on health care. Danny Davis, our friend, our brother beloved, he is the health care specialist in the Congress. Give it up for Danny Davis. Noontime, my wife Jackie heads the women's luncheon. We're going to talk about the women's luncheon. Women are working harder and making less. Women like Sister Wade out at hard times. Isn't that a miracle? She got jam, burnouts, and the community went to her. So when you cast bread on the water, it will come back toasted with butter on it. She has helped people. If she's in trouble, people helped her. Sparks, they call that sending up your timber. And so I want to give Sister Wade another big hand. I appreciate her so much. We're honoring Winnie Mandela on that. Then we expect to have Winnie Mandela's daughters to come here from South Africa. When Nelson Mandela was in prison for 27 years, and Oliver Tambo was in exile, whose voice did we hear? It was Winnie Mandela. It was her voice. We heard the heartbeat of Mandela. It was Winnie's heart that we heard on that occasion. They put her in exile. They beat her. They discredited, they lied on her. We stand for Winnie Mandela. We will honor her on that day. Give my wife Jackie a big hand. She's done a tremendous job on the women's. The night, amazing thing has happened. The night is our sports and education banquet. Last week I met the great, great niece of Jack Johnson. She'll be with us now that we're going to honor her. We're fighting to get Jack Johnson pardoned. We've asked presidents across the years to pardon Jack Johnson, and finally it looks like Trump might pardon Jack Johnson. I hope he does. So whoever does it, he has earned the right to be pardoned. See, when Joe Louis won the big match, Weiss on his side because he beat Maximilian the German. Hitler said they were superior. They were in charge of everything. They were superior. And no American could stand up against Maximilian except Joe Louis. It advanced our cause because Joe Louis beat Maximilian. But white folks were for Joe Louis also because he beat the German champion. We were fighting the Germans in the war. But when Jack Johnson fought, they were against him. The time when we couldn't use a toilet, it's illegal to use a library. When we could not vote, when Jack Johnson stepped in that ring from Galveston, Texas, and beat Jim Jeffries to a pulp, and then came home with a convertible car in Chicago and rode down the street with a white woman, they lost their mind. Jack Johnson is in Graceland Cemetery. We're going to help build him the kind of mausoleum he deserves. He's the first African-American world heavyweight boxing champion. And because of Jack Johnson's work, it laid the groundwork for Joe Louis, who came next, laid the groundwork for Muhammad Ali, which came next. But Jack Johnson is the father of heavyweight boxing champions. And so his niece, we met her this weekend. She'll be one. We're trying to get the wife of Curt Flood to be one of our guests tonight. Jackie Robinson got us into baseball, but Curt Flood got us paid for playing. Curt sacrificed his career for free agency. That's why the ball players can negotiate, because they're free to go from place to place and not be locked into a plantation. Curt Flood used the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendments for the right. You cannot sell me. I'm not a slave. So we're going to honor Kurt Flood for standing up and standing tall. We're going to honor Jackie Robinson's family, because Jackie was the big breakthrough during the Joe Louis season. Also on the night, Colin Kaepernick. We're trying to get Colin to come to Chicago. We honor him for standing up. He's risked $100 million on principle. Get a big hand for Colin Kaepernick. On that Saturday morning, we're going to have with us Brian Stevenson. Brian has built this tremendous museum down in Montgomery, Alabama. It opens up that part of our history that has been erased from our memory. Most of us cannot go back past 3 generations. I remember Grandma. I heard a little something about great-grandma, great-great-grandma. Don't know much about her. Jesus talked about 42 generations, from him to David, 42 generations. This morning they talked about some church in England built 500 years ago. We were in slavery for 246 years within the last 500 years. We should know our yesterday. We should know our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, and our lineage. And so we're going to talk a lot that day about the impact of 5,000 blacks being lynched. Most blacks came to Chicago, came to New York, came really as refugees, not as migrants, came because we were lynched and hung. Emmett Till, we know a little about it. Emmett was among the last of that season of lynching, but lynching has its own distinction. When they were looking to kill Fred Hampton and Bobby Rush and Mark Clark, and one of them snitched and told where they were sleeping, gave the outline of the house. Police went in and shot Fred Hampton in the head while he was asleep. That was much of a lynching as lynching Willie Till. Talk to me, somebody. We must make lynching a federal crime. Lynching is not yet a federal crime. Bobby Rush and Danny Davis are carrying the legislation. We want lynching to become a federal crime. So our convention will focus on making lynching a federal crime. We'll focus a lot that day on how can we, in fact, use our strength to maximize registration. Don't complain about Trump, vote about Trump. If we vote our numbers and our hopes and not our fears, we can send them back to selling apartments again. If we have the faith, we have the numbers and the power. So we have the power to make Trump an apartment seller again. Talk to me, somebody. There is this scripture that says that when they took us away captive and they carried us away by the rivers of Babylon, we wept when we remembered Zion. The reason we don't remember Zion. We don't remember where we came from. There's no sense of the joy to be recovered because we never thought we lost. We think these are our best days. These may not be our best days. I look at all these talks about children, about mixed parents, the young lady Megan and President Barack Obama. All of us are mixed. Some of us know it, and some don't. Have you ever seen an African get off of a boat, light skin with wavy hair? You ever seen a light-skinned African get off one of them boats? So all of us got lineage of white, because black women were called women of comfort. There was not one rape in the whole of slavery as a matter of law. Now one person lynched, one person arrested for rape or convicted for rape because the black women were considered property. They simply wash them up, clean them up, perfume them down, and have sex with them. And then the reason why they had 1% of one blood makes you black, they didn't want to take care of their babies. So then they decided us into light skin and dark skin. How strange it must have been for an African-American man to have, they used him as a sire to produce black babies. His one wife had 3 babies, 2 dark skin, 2 light skin. He knew what happened. He didn't have the right to protest because he was trapped in slavery. And so it is that in these next year, we're 400 years since we'll have been here. The reason why we have no sense, if you don't have a sense of your history, then New Year's Day become a day for ham hocks and black-eyed peas and ball games, as opposed to Emancipation Day, because we don't know any better. May 17th is a big day. It broke the backbone of legal segregation. Before Dr. King and Rosa Parks, there was Linda Brown, and there was Thurgood Marshall, and Constance Baker Motley, and Attorney Navarrete. The legal background changed everything. When we say we live in our faith, we live under the law. The law changed May 17th, 1954. The most fundamental change in the last century has been the May 1954 decision, because segregation was legal. We were arrested trying to use a public library. The librarian was legally right. Rosa Parks was arrested trying to use a bus. The bus driver was legally right. We challenged his morality and we challenged the law. So segregation was legally right, technically. Going to the back of the bus was legally right. So my point is that becomes our mission. Now, my brothers and my sisters, I want you to let's rally our family. We're going to come together and teach our young people all over America. We're bringing in mayors from around the nation on how to organize to begin. We do not collect garbage in a single community in our country. Waste management is over $20 billion picking up garbage in the black community. The mayors may be black, but the garbage collectors are waste management. You understand that the over $20 billion industry is waste management. We don't collect garbage where we live. If we don't collect garbage where we live and can't build where we live and can't read and write our thoughts, we can't compete. We can't survive. These city colleges really are survival institutions. They're ways out. I know it gets dark sometimes, but the Lord is our light. Don't let them break your spirit. The Lord is our light. He is our joy. He is our hope. He is our salvation. It's real dark sometimes, but the morning cometh. The morning cometh. It's morning time. Time to get up, stand up, fight back, get on your ship. Let it come sailing home. So get on your ship. Let it come sailing home. Our time has come. We can learn. We will learn. We must learn. We can learn. We'll learn. We must learn. If my mind can conceive it and my heart can believe it, I know I can achieve it. I am somebody. I deserve literacy. I deserve a job. I deserve wages. I deserve contracts. I deserve a right to the tree of life. Respect me. I am somebody. I am God's child. Keep hope alive. Put your hands together.
No you for your love. Thank you for your power. Thank you for your protection every hour. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your power. Thank you for your protection every hour. Thank you, Lord.
Give it up for Timeless Gifts. Let's hear it for the Timeless Gifts. Come on, Reverend.
I'm gonna on that good old, and we'll go sailing through the air. I'm gonna take a trip. Hey, put those hands together. On that good old, and we'll go sailing through the air. And when my ship comes in, come on, put those hands together. Gonna leave this old world, and we'll go sailing through the air. When my ship comes in, we're gonna leave this old world sin. Sailing through the air. Trouble in my way, I have to cry sometime. Yeah, so much trouble, I have to cry sometime. Well, I lay awake at night. I lay awake at night. I say, Jesus,
Jesus, he will fix it.
I heard him say, Jesus will.
Jesus, he will fix it.
I heard him say, Jesus will.
Jesus, he will fix it.
After a while, I'm gonna take a trip hey, on that good old ship, and we'll go sailing through the air. We're gonna leave this old world of sin, and we'll go sailing through the air. Yeah, trouble in my way.
Trouble in my way. Gotta pass some time.
Well,
Trouble in my way.
yeah, we have a lot of, what y'all said, we have a, yeah, but we have a lot of,
I know Jesus.
Jesus, he will fix it.
I know that Jesus will.
Jesus, he will fix
Is there
it.
anybody know that Jesus will fix it?
Jesus, he will fix
Is there
it.
anybody here that know that God will?
Jesus, he will fix it.
Yeah, is anybody know that Jesus will?
Jesus, he will fix it. Fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it, Jesus, fix it.
Fix it.
How many of y'all know you will? Yeah, fix it,
Fix it.
yeah, fix it,
Fix it.
yeah, fix it, fix it.
yeah, well, we have a lot of educated people, we have a lot of doctors here. How many of y'all got a PhD? How many of y'all got a PhD? Hey, you see, y'all, these doctors, and y'all, these are doctors.
My bad. We got yes, I'm sorry. But every now and then, something moves.
Something will.
I said something moves on the outside
Ah, yeah.
that got me feeling good on the inside. Can I get one witness? Is there anybody here that can know that the Lord will make a way somehow?
Stop. Give it up for our musicians. Let me make several basic appeals right now. I need your help. Musicians, all of you included now. Our convention is June 13th to 16th. We open, wait. I know y'all happy, real happy. On that Wednesday, we kick off with our construction day. Son of Omar Sharif. Those who are interested in getting your Dawson Center, where's Dawson Skill Center? Dawson Skill Center, Dawson Skill Center. Where is it? We're going to work with Dawson Skill Center, right, for the training of our young people, to build where we live. It's just $50 to register for the convention. $50 to register for the convention. I need you to register for the convention today. On that Thursday morning, that night we have our gospel. I want all of you to come to the gospel affair. We have B.B. Winans and Darius Brooks and the Tommies and Ludella Evans Reed and the Mass Choir and Dr. Du Bois that night. We will have us a tremendous, we'll be at Apostolic Faith. How many of you will come to the gospel event that Wednesday night? Raise your hand. Say it's free to get in. No promise. Be free to get out. I'm going to beg y'all, Mama look so pitiful, y'all going to just give me something. But anyhow, for the convention, you register for the convention is just $50. How many of you will register for the Push convention? You'll register for the convention. You'll register. Raise your hand. You're registered for the Push convention. Raise your hand. If you've not registered, you're registered today. Raise your hand. You're registered for the Push convention. City College, I know y'all got good jobs. You make lots of money. Got lots of training. I know y'all got money. People at Daily College got lots of money. They just look like money. I know y'all got money at Daily College. $50 to register. Now, Ms. McMorris, come here right quick, please. Where is she? Ms. McMorris, send for her, please, for me in the meantime. Now, it's time for our collection. Don't take my appeal for granted. This is how we survive and sustain our work. We've been like this every ceremony for 52 years, since 1966, fighting this fight. You'll register today. You'll give at least $100 to Rainbow Push. Please stand. You'll give at least $100. All you City College presidents stand. Act like y'all got good jobs. Act trained. Get up. At least $100. Stand right now. Or if you need to swipe because you think about somebody going to cheat you, we got a swipe machine up here too. You give at least $100. Please raise your hand. Y'all know King James going down tonight, don't you? I know all you basketball people. Boston going to run and leave him tonight. You'll give at least $100, please stand. You'll give at least $100, please stand. You'll sacrifice and give at least $100, please stand, whoever you are. You'll give $50 or more, won't you stand? You'll give $50 or more. Jonathan, I know you have money.